producer of Burn the Floor, and I founded this company back in 1997. So thank you very much for joining us tonight. This is our Tuesday talkback. I'll give you a little bit of the history about our show, then I'm going to introduce you to Jason Gilkison, who's our director and choreographer, and then some of the cast will come out and join you, and happy to answer any questions that you may have. So this company began performing in 1999. Our first show was on the 17th of July in 1999 in Bournemouth in the UK. Amazingly, 10 years later to the day, we left Australia to fly here to open at this Longacre Theatre, and coming to Broadway was an absolute dream for us. We've worked very hard at it, and it's a wonderful experience. And from the dancers' perspective, in particular, it's this is sacred ground. So it's amazing to be here. Over those 10 years, we've played in over 30 countries, about 151 or 52 cities. I've lost count. We've had incredible tours through a lot of countries. Places like Japan, where Burn the Floor is akin to like a religious movement. We've been there 5 times, played in over 10 cities. Our longest tour there was 52 shows, which is pretty good for Japan. We have another younger development company who are battling through the backwoods of China at the moment. I can't even pronounce the name of the city they were in last night, but apparently it wasn't a lot of fun. They did a show without lighting, and the labour didn't turn up at the end of the show, and the dancers helped load up the costumes, which is an amazing commitment. They rang me at 3:30 to say they'd just got back to the hotel. So we breed them tough in Burn the Floor. What I'd like to do is introduce you to man who's our choreographer and director and our sort of guiding creative vision. He joined this company as a principal dancer in 1999 with his dance partner Peter Roby. Peter has the short straw. She's in China right now, missing Broadway. Jason's been very involved in the development of the show, and it's his vision that's got us to this stage where we are today. So without further ado, Jason Gilkison.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our talkback after Burn the Floor. I'd like to thank you all for staying back, and we're really excited to have you here. Thanks for being a great audience. My first memories of ballroom dancing was actually being dragged to my grandfather's studio when I was about 3 years old by my mother, forced to learn the waltz. And my grandfather opened the first ballroom dancing studio in Australia in 1931. So it's sort of been in my genes for so long. And it was always my dream to bring a ballroom show to Broadway. That's kind of been the ambition of this entire dance company since we started from an idea that happened at Elton John's 50th birthday 10 years ago. And 10 years later, here we are, the first ballroom dancing company ever to make it to Broadway. So, and that's through a lot of hard work. That's through a lot of hard work from a very, very talented, very committed company who've been with us all the way. Some of them have been with us about 10 years, so a long time. So I would like to, without further ado, bring out our dance company and get you to ask some questions to them. So, guys. Trust me when I say that these are the hardest working dancers on the planet right now. I'm just going to pass the mic down and just get each of them to introduce themselves to you.
Hi, I'm Damon and I'm from Australia.
Hi, I'm Rebecca.
Henry from Australia.
Rebecca, vocalist from Australia.
Dancer, Artem.
My name is Jeremy, I'm from Australia.
Hi,
Hi, I'm Sarah from Malaysia.
I'm Giselle from San Francisco.
Hi, I'm Kevin from England.
No support for England. Natasha from England.
Yeah.
I'm Anya from Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I'm Sarah from Australia.
And I'm Robin from London, England. So what we're going to do, we're going to throw it over to you guys now and see if you've got any questions for our company. So we've got Whitney wandering around there.
How do you suppress your egos? I know you're all dance champions. How do you get together and work together like this? It's fantastic.
You know what, we all came from the ballroom dance competitive world where we all had huge egos. It was all about competing with each other and wanting to be the best and wanting to be the best individually. This company allows us to do that as a group. We are one big ego. We all feed off of each other, and that's what makes us so great because we are just one unit and we're like a big family, so it all works really well that way. That is the great thing about these guys. I mean, they've spent their entire lives becoming the best dancers from their particular country, and to have them all out here at the same time, not in competition, but actually working for the same goal. It's actually beautiful to work with as well.
The dancer who danced blindfolded does not seem to be out here, but I was wondering, I don't think she is, I was wondering how you do that and maintain your balance, because I can't even stand on one foot for 5 seconds blindfolded. I mean, you just totally lose all perspective and balance.
The only reason why I'm answering this is because I've actually done the number a couple of times just as a cover. But the main part of our art form is lead and follow, and the man being able to lead the lady completely, and the lady being able to 100% trust in his lead. When the blindfold's on, it is quite difficult, but these guys are so good at what they do that it allows Peter to be able to do what she does so beautifully.
Anybody else? Up the back.
I have a choreographic question, but before I ask, I just want to say the first Viennese waltz was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. Bravo. You do ballroom with a message. You have a storyline behind your dance. And so I wonder, to me, that was the main difference that I thought between ballroom and, say, contemporary dance. So I wonder if you see ballroom and contemporary merging down the line.
I think the exciting thing about creating this show is it was really interesting for us to show people what had happened to ballroom over the last 20 years, because I guess when you think about it, ballroom was sort of dormant for a while, and then no one really saw it until it came back on Dancing with the Stars a couple of years ago, and then suddenly everybody knows what a cha-cha-cha and a paso doble and a tango is again. What these guys are doing is taking those dances that became famous when our grandparents were all doing them, and they're actually showing how those dances would be done these days with these attitudes and these expressions. And that's what's exciting, because when I'm working with these guys, they're not satisfied to keep it the same way. They want to take ballroom dancing somewhere else and actually stretch it as far as it will go. And so in a sense, when you see ballroom dancing today, it's not the waltz that our grandparents used to do. It's actually fused with all these other dance forms that these guys have been exposed to over the years. So it's interesting and beautiful to see ballroom dancing just get more exciting.
Are you based in Sydney or Melbourne? The company?
Hi. Our office is in Sydney in Australia, our home office.
Okay.
How in the world do you keep up your energy?
Well, you are the ones who are giving it to us. We're giving you a little bit, we're giving some more back, and we're giving more back, and it's endless exchange. I mean, for live performers, I think it's the best feeling, the best drug, to have the audience who appreciate their dance, or any art form, and give them back the energy. Everybody's happy at the end, right?
Yeah!
And you have to have that energy then too, and no audience. How does that work?
Well, that's why no audience allowed during the practice time.
I think you missed it a little bit.
No, it's just years and years of rehearsals and practicing give you the stamina, give you the ability to bring it, turn it on when you need to, and perform. That's what it's all about. Thank you.
If I could ask, how often do you change the choreography? Or is this something that's been in place for 6 months, a year, 5 years? Or is it something you change very rapidly?
Every 5 minutes, actually. It's quite funny because every day someone will come in and say, I've got this great idea to do something, and so this show can never freeze. It's not like the typical Broadway show where at this point, that's where it all ends. Every day, these couples are actually trying to take their own dancing as individuals to the next level, and so when one couple changes something, it sort of snowballs right around the company. And of course, when we have new people come into the company, we design the choreography specifically for that couple. So it's it causes quite a lot of rehearsal, but that's why they're able to keep it so fresh on stage all the time. So in 2 weeks' time, you'll see probably quite a different show, depending on which night you come.
So if we come in 2 weeks, we'll see a whole new show?
You'll notice changes. You'll definitely notice changes. There was a few tonight, actually.
I'm delighted to say that I know Pasha and Anya from the days when they worked and studied and practiced in New York City, and I had the good luck to dance with both of them and take lessons with both of them. They are extraordinary people. They are my heroes, and I am so pleased to see that they have met with such wonderful success.
So this is less of a question, but more of just one thing that I really liked about you guys, you moved so well together as a whole group. I know that a lot of you are partnered already, and so you're used to your partner, you're working with your partner, but it's amazing how well you're unison when you're doing the same thing, spread out. It's all sharp, it's all right together, and like I imagine you guys watch videos of it to get it right, or I don't know how you would do so exactly the same.
We actually have the privilege of having Jason with us nearly all the time. Occasionally we have to lend him off to a TV show or another show, but we have him with us all the time, and he is our eyes. We really do rely on his feedback constantly for that kind of thing, and for inspiration as well every day.
And you're so young, how did you get to be a director?
Not as young as I look. Dancing keeps me young. And working with these guys all the time. And I've been dancing with my dancing partner, who's running the China company. We've been dancing together for 37 years. Oh, right. So we started when we were minors. No, that's a good way my age. We started when we were 7, so I was very lucky. I had a great upbringing in my grandfather's dance studio. I was lucky enough to have the same partner for 37 years now, and we made it to the top of the ballroom dancing world. Some of these guys are couples, and Damon and Beck have been with us for 10 years with the company now. And
the blonde with the mask on and so forth, who fills in for her? I've seen the show 4 times since she came here. But, and I also saw you in Atlantic City, I saw you in Casino in Connecticut.
He's still coming back.
I'd love to fill in sometime. I say, what happens when she has a bad night, doesn't feel good or something? Who fills in for her?
Well, actually, twice a week we have pretty cool days where the company all swap roles and they try other parts of the show. And what's great, they all cover each other. So there's about 4 or 5 of these girls that can do the blindfold dance, and it's a good exercise for us in rehearsal as well, because it's kind of the essence of the ballroom dancing thing, being able to dance and completely trust the partner that's leading you. So it's kind of a good exercise for all the girls to try.
How long does it take to learn all the steps?
Good question. Who'd like to take that one? I'm going to rip it.
Took me 2 weeks. When Jason actually put the show together from the very beginning, it only took him 2 weeks to choreograph it and for us to learn it from scratch. Wow. So within 2 weeks, this baby was born.
To the dancers, because this is really important. What this is all about is these guys who come from a really unique background, where in competition they have these amazing values, which is the inspiration of this company. You know, the work ethic, the commitment, the love of dance, the passion, the desire to be the best they can every night. These are great qualities that exist in this rare stream of ballroom dancers. And it's hard to find in society generally, I think, today, to find people with that ethic. It's an incredible compliment to them and the way they lead their lives.
Was it difficult to sell the concept of Broadway about, a dance show like this, or do you think that television now? It's very unique.
Yeah, we still can't believe we're here, actually. When we first set out to do this, we thought it was pretty much an impossible dream to take a pure, well, not just a dance show, but a ballroom dancing show. It was very hard for people to actually, see what we were trying to move towards, but we stayed committed, and 10 years later, here we are. So we're a little company that had a big, big dream, and this is our dream coming true.
Thank you very much. First, my wife and I enjoy ballroom dancing. We dance a little ourselves, and we're very humbled by the experience this evening. It's probably one of the most fantastic experiences of ballroom we've ever seen on stage. So you guys are incredible. And this is not specifically about your dancing, which is extraordinary, but your work ethic. How do you keep yourself in shape physically? You all, for example, work out at a gym in preparation for this or something like that, in order to keep that incredible stamina. You have the beauty and youth, but where does that incredible strength and flexibility come from? As a 65-year-old, I'd love to know some of your secrets.
8 shows a week. 8 shows a week.
We're all different. I mean, all our bodies adapt to this completely different. The boys generally, we tend to be at the gym a lot because we find this show is so high on the calories burning that the boys lose a lot of weight and very quickly, and we like to stay a little bit more muscular. Whereas, me personally, yes. Some of the others do it just to keep their fitness up. Everybody's got a different way of doing it. The girls, that I see them, they're still on the treadmills in the morning. Every day I see them there at the gym running for a good 45 minutes just to keep their stamina up for this show. This one is the middle here. 2 hours over 2. 3 hours. But it's all about eating healthily. It's about what we eat and drinking a lot of water. We lose a lot of water during this show, as I'm sure whoever was sat in the front here. And we need to drink a lot of water just to replenish all that at the end of each show.
Another question, if I could. You guys put in a lot of hours, I'm sure a lot of rehearsal hours. You guys getting overtime for this? Anyone? Well, no, actually, no. I do have one comment to make. The singers, I think you did a great job and added so much to the show. I look forward to each one of the songs that you sang, so I just wanted to compliment you on that. Thank you.
I think it's important to add that these guys give up a lot to be here. I could never pay them what they're worth. They are priceless. You know, it's an amazing situation. It's been a tough road for us to get here. But you know, we're here and we're here to stay, and these guys will get their rewards. It's so important.
This is a good one.
Jason. We have a question via Twitter. That's white people technology.
Just tell them what we're doing tonight.
We're actually live streaming this over the internet.
So it's over the internet.
So everyone's questions are being answered online. So what would you say to aspiring dancers, young aspiring dancers? The one thing you'd say to them? No pressure.
I would say just believe in yourself and just stay with it and do as many styles as you possibly can. You know, just get in, and even if you don't have an opportunity to take, you know, private coaching or classes, just try to do an exchange or just, you know, get something back. But do as many classes and, you know, as you possibly can. And stretch. And stay really positive.
When it gets hard.
Just in addition to that, a lot of these guys are from country towns in very strange countries from all over the world. I'm from a very small town in Australia, Perth, and you know, there's no from Perth. That never happens. But it's really interesting. But in Perth, there's no, you know, Broadway level dance classes to go to or stuff like that. But if you love what you do, stick with it. You know, in the end it'll come through for you, and that's what a lot of the people on the stage, all of us here, believe. So that's my advice to any young dancer starting out.
This is our second time, and I have a question. Is it really limited engagement? Are you really going to leave us?
We'll stay as long as you'll have us.
Extending, maybe?
Well, at the moment we're extended to January 3rd, so you know, we're really, really happy with that.
Question on dance.
During the 70s, the hustle was so popular here in the United States. How come it didn't become a standard?
That's a very good question.
Because you do it constantly in your routines. You're using the hustle, and yet in the competitions they don't use it as a standard.
It was really quite interesting because at the beginning of our show we have a piece of dance that goes through the eras, and it was really difficult when we got to the 70s because there was no partner dancing, and this show being about partner dancing, probably the only surviving dance in the 1970s was the hustle. And yeah, you don't see it a lot done these days, although it does pop up.
Well, we have competitions throughout the country, and dance weekend with hustle, they draw 1,500, 2,000 people. Every weekend it's a different place, and yet it's not presented on TV, on Dancing with the Stars. It's not presented in the competitions throughout the month. I'm just curious because
I think it popped up on the last season of So You Think You Can Dance, and I think they're starting to sort of use it a little bit more, so I hope we see more of it. Just taking the last few questions.
Very thrilling, thank you. What would you consider the most dangerous moment? Because I've seen a lot of drops, a lot of clips and stuff during the production.
I have a lot of upside down things, so probably every night I think the floor is like right there on me, but you generally kind of get used to the feeling. Still sometimes there are little surprises, but lifts can be scary. I did have a phobia before I joined the company for like heights and any lifting, but I had to get over that quite quickly. But yeah, you generally get used to it, so things do happen.
I just wanted to commend you all on your persistence, dedication. Those things are incredible. Do you have any, will you be going to Vegas? Can you get to Vegas? And obviously we won't want to keep you here, but.
We've been to Las Vegas twice. We performed there in 2003 at the Paris Casino for 1 week. And in 2006 we were offered a residency at the Luxor, which ran for 6 weeks. And in the 6th week, the president of the hotel came to us and says, "I've got good news and bad news." So I said, "Okay, what's the good news?" He said, "We're extending you 6 weeks." Okay, if that's the good news, what's the bad news? The bad news is that the casino had just done a deal with Cirque du Soleil and Chris Angel, and they're moving in 7 weeks. We were out. We will be back there eventually.
I'd just like to make a plug for dance sport, because I take lessons there, and I think all of you have a phenomenal opportunity to go there and be taught by these incredible people. And I have nothing, I'm not involved with them financially or anything, but I really encourage you to do it, because I think you have a great time. If I were going to be here, I'd do it myself.
We might just take one last question if we can.
I was just going to say quickly about dance sport. That's correct. They are doing workshops on this coming Sunday night and the following Sunday night. You can sign up through the website and all that.
What should we wear?
I'm sorry?
What should we wear?
What should they wear?
Sweats.
Whatever's comfortable.
Hi, if you have to choose, do you prefer the competition or the Broadway show?
You spend a lot of money in the competition world, dancers, on your dancing shoes, your dresses, the lessons. Sometimes you get a lot out of it and sometimes you don't. You go to a competition, sometimes the best person wins, sometimes they don't. You come to a Broadway show and you get the respect from the audience, and we see people walking out of here wanting to learn how to dance, and that is so inspiring for us as dancers to be able to inspire other people. So I vote the show.
There's only so far you can actually take it in the competitive world. You've got your one-sided world champion. There's not really, if you make it that far, there's not much else for you to do. To be able to get taken out of that and brought onto the stage, you've opened yourself up to an entirely different world of employment and opportunities that are available to us. From here, the world is our oyster, where we've only been able to go so far with the competitive world. This will go on and on and on to bigger and huge things for this show.
I will say though, if it wasn't for the competition circuit, we actually all came from there. So that was like your education. Our education, it was like, our degree, our schooling. So you have to go through that, and I don't regret that. That was absolutely wonderful. It gave me the foundation to come and be a performer and a dancer in this show. So if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be here. And I think pretty much all of us were handpicked through the competition circuit. So.
Before we wrap up, can I ask you a few questions, if you don't mind? Who's from out of town?
Right here.
Oh, wow, fantastic. How did you find out about us? Was it by television? Word of mouth from a friend? Yeah? If you found out that way, would you put your hand up? I'm just really interested. Not many there. How else did you find out about us? On the internet?
On the internet.
Internet?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I constantly put your name in month after month to see when you're coming back.
Brilliant, thank you very much. Well, we really appreciate you coming to our show tonight and staying back with us. Unfortunately, the boss is up the back there and it's time to go home.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Talk to them after and stuff? Do you have any idea how often they change the DVD? Like if you're buying a DVD to what shows it how long ago was it?
That I think was a tour, but I'm not sure what tour.
I'm wondering how much different it is from the show.